What's up, you guys? Welcome to Walk the Line. We're hitting up the recap of UFC 308. It's a fight card that's more than worthy of us hopping on the mic here and just going over everything that took place yesterday. The fights delivered. There's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot to go over. I want to clear the air on the whole Max Holloway situation. If you guys follow me on IG, a lot of you guys have been giving me heat, feeling that I've been going at Holloway in the wrong way. Specifically about the fact that he wasn't willing to oblige Topuria when he pointed down on the mat. And I want to go over all of that. I really do want to clear the air there, because whether you guys want to believe me or not, I am a true Holloway fan. I'm just a much bigger Topuria fan, but I have a bone to pick with Holloway, man. I was not in agreement of something that he did, but we'll go over all that. All right, guys. If you didn't know already, we crushed UFC 308. We hit 3 of our 4 targeted official plays. I'll let you guys know what plays we targeted and what was the one play that we missed and all that. It was a great event there. If you guys followed the prop video, if you guys caught the prop video that I did for the event, we hit 3 of the 4 plays that I gave out there. The 4 free prop plays, 3 of those cash. You would have profited nice if you targeted all 4 of those. And we went 10 for 13 on the card as a whole. Okay. If you're wondering where the UFC Edmonton prediction video is, that is in the works. That should be up by tomorrow afternoon. Filming this Sunday evening, Sunday night. And take it easy on me if I look a little rough right now, because these lights are bright on a Sunday evening after a long weekend, especially when you had a daytime card like we had take place yesterday. And if you guys can hear it in my voice, I am under the weather. It's that time of year. Looks like the sicknesses are going to start coming around. If you guys remember last year, I mean, it was brutal for me at the end of 2023. I mean, they caught me like 4 times within the last quarter year there, just getting sick all the time. Hopefully that's not the case, but take it easy on me, guys, because I know I'm looking a little rough, but I'm ready to talk some action here. I got a lot to talk about. I'll let you guys know this real quick before we jump into the show. If anyone's looking to sign up to a new sports book, we're powered by BetUS, and it's a great sports book to join. They have the best deposit matches in the game, okay? If you guys sign up through my referral link, you will get 150% match on your first 3 deposits. Reach out to me. I'll send you over that link. You'll get 150% match on your first 3 deposits. How about the judges? They were at it once again. Atrocious scoring in the first fight of the card as they gave that fight to Rinat Fakhretdinov. The judges just being completely incompetent, specifically one man who scored the fight 30-27 for Fakhretdinov over the UFC newcomer and Carlos Leal. Maybe calling them incompetent is actually not the right terminology, because I think there was some malice involved. I think that was intentionally done to score every single round for him. And then you also take a look at who that judge was, and there's kind of some signs pointing towards him maybe wanting Fakhretdinov to win the fight. It's a black guy on the sport. It's going to continue. We're going to see judges make the wrong decisions at times, but when you have a situation like that is clear, you would think that the UFC is able to rid that from the sport quite easily, because that judge should just simply never judge another fight again. I mean, that's as easy as that is, right? Just he's never allowed to judge another fight. It's that was atrocious. And if you're feeling like maybe Carlos Leal had that coming to him based on the fact that there was a lot of accusations that he was on performance-enhancing drugs based off his physique at the weigh-ins, had a lot of body acne, he was shredded up. I don't think that's the right way to go, man. You don't know that to be true, and at the end of the day, he did do enough to get the job done, and that was just, I didn't like the way that played out to kick the card off, and it really had me feeling some type of way as we were working our way up this card, because I actually felt comfortable about a play that I was huge on. I thought I already had an idea that if the fight played out somewhat close, that we were going to get that strong lean, and in the Shara Magomedov fight, I felt like even if he just kept that fight slightly close, even if he lost it, I thought he was going to get the W anyway over there if it went to the judges' scorecards, and I felt really confident after that, but I was also worried about some other fights. And Bruno Silva, we'll go to the next fight. Bruno Silva looking atrocious out there, man. I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC cut him after that fight. Very low activity. He looks like he's just on his way out of the fight game, in my opinion. And props to the Austrian Wonder Boy for returning back to the UFC and getting a W there. Farid Basharat does enough to get another decision victory over Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo came in way overweight. And Farid Basharat, he is so good at just getting those decision victories like we talked about. And that was a prop bet that we gave out. It was right around -200, but I felt very comfortable Basharat was going to do what he does best, and he's a very well-rounded fighter, and he'll take you to that last minute of the fight. He'll get his hand raised as the fight goes to the judges' scorecards, and that's exactly what he did. The Kennedy and Shekawu victory over Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett hurting himself before the fight ever even started. Came into the fight with the heavy heart and all that. Came into the fight heavy, and I am a Chris Barnett fan, but I think that's got to be the last we see of him inside the UFC. He's a fun fighter, but we want to keep the sport and the promotion professional, right? So it's the highest level of the sport. When you're talking the UFC, you can't really have Chris Barnett's stumbling around in the octagon like that. And then Bruno Ferreira takes an L to Abus Magomedov. Now, Magomedov, all of a sudden at 34 years old, creeping up in 35 years old, looks to be in the best shape of his career. That's another type of situation there where we're kind of speculating that things were just a little bit different out there as far as the drug testing and whatnot. And maybe some of these fighters are able to get away with a little bit more. I don't know. I hate to point fingers like that because we just truly will never know. But Magomedov looked to be in phenomenal shape. He looked freakish out there, man. You saw his back, and we heard the broadcast team talking about it. And, just to the fight, that was a fight that played out very closely, came down to the third round, besides the fact that Bruno almost finished Abus early in the fight. But Ferreira carrying a little bit of extra weight. I think that if he would have put in a little bit more work with his cardio, he would have been just fresh enough to stuff those takedowns in the third. And I thought he could have took that third round, potentially maybe even got a finish if he was fresh there, because Abus Magomedov was kind of out of it for a while. He pushed through, and he got those takedowns, and then he eventually got that arm triangle choke on Ferreira. It was a good fight. Ferreira's a fun fighter. He's an entertaining fighter, but he needs to put in some more work on his cardio. He needs to be more professional. He has a lot of raw tools. He's a fun fighter, but I want to see him coming in a little bit more trim. He was looking a little flubby out there. Now this next fight, man, I love this fight. This was my first official play of the event. Miktabek Oralbay taking on Matus Rembecki. Rembecki, everybody turned their back on him, and I was able to grab him at plus 260. I threw 1.5 units on that. I mean, how did everybody forget how dangerous and how great he's looked in the cage? I understand that he broke down against Diego Ferreira, but why did everybody just completely forget how good he is? And we know that Oralbay is the real deal as well, but that was a fight that should have been capped much closer. As we talked about on the full prediction video, that was a fight that I thought should be almost a 50-50. It should have been a 50-50. In fact, I had it capped right around even odds, and it played out just like that. Okay, and Rembecki definitely won the fight, in my opinion. You take a look at the damage that he inflicted. He almost stopped the fight multiple times. Props to Oralbay for coming back and finishing strong, but still did not do near enough to take that third round. Okay, the fight probably could have been stopped. If you notice when they covered one of his eyes to see if he could see out of the other eye, that was just destroyed. Did you notice that the doctor left a lot of space from his other eye where he was able to see the number there? I thought that was kind of comical. I didn't have a problem with that, though. I like the fights to push through. I want to see the action, and that was a great fight, though. But what a way to kick the card off, man. We were really celebrating there, and we were excited for what was to come. RDA gets injured against Jeff Neal, but Jeff Neal was looking great even before the injury. He was handling RDA, and he was going to take that W regardless. And that was the best version of Neal, I think, that we've seen. In RDA, he's given us so much. But, I mean, this is a fighter that's talking about how he wants to finish out his contract, and he has a lot more fights left to give us. And I don't know if that's really the case, man. RDA now, 40 years old. I think he should just try to get a solid matchup where he can get a W and just kind of retire from the sport. I don't really want to see him out there again. And he's going to have some recovery time now to fix his leg up and whatnot. And how about Ibo Aslan going into this fight with Rafael Sequeira? That was a fight that a lot of us had capped very evenly. There were some moving parts there. Rafael looked to be a young promising fighter, but limited tape on him, fought low-level competition. Ibo Aslan, we've seen the development from him. He's already fought in the UFC, had that redemption victory in his last fight going into this, and over a fighter that defeated him in the past. And that was just a solid victory for Ibo Aslan. I think that he's starting to put his name on the map. Gets a first-round KO there, the standing KO. That was beautiful. And then to the main card, man, we got a lot of official action to talk about here. And like I said, I want to clear the air up in regards to some of these fights. All right, so right off the rip, we had a 4.5 unit play on Shera Magomedov to defeat Armen Petrosyan. How about the double spinning back fist attack, right? Goes one way, comes back with the other, gets the knockout over Armen. Now, if that fight would have went to the judges' scorecards, I felt very confident that we were going to get the nod regardless. This is why I love this play. Let me tell you why. First off, stylistically, it was another solid matchup for Shera Magomedov, which the UFC wants to groom, and they want him to be a household name, especially in that part of the world. They want to deliver for the fans over there. Everyone loves Shera Magomedov, and they're going to give him these nice stylistic matchups, striker versus striker. We know that when he eventually faces a high-level grappler, he's going to get exposed, but Arman Petrosyan is far from that. We saw that he's inadequate down on the mat. We saw that in his last fight when he got subbed quickly against the black belt Hunter there. I know the black belt Hunter is the real deal down on the mat, but Petrosyan looked like he was running with his shoes untied, just falling around out there, and he wasn't going to expose Magomedov down there. And then on the feet, the only way Petrosyan was winning that fight, in my opinion, was if he got a knockout. So I was able to grab the bullet at -155 when that line dipped. I love that line. If this fight played out even closely, we were going to get the nod, okay? Shera puts out great volume, throws these flashy type of attacks that work perfectly to get the judges on your side, especially when everyone wants you to win the fight over there. So that was a spot. That was one of the biggest plays that we put out, and we were sniping on that, okay, guys? We were really sniping on that. That was some professional stuff there. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I really felt all you guys should have been hammering the Magomedov line. If you really put everything together and you were understanding what was going on in the cage, you were basically betting against not getting knocked out, which is fine, you know, for per those odds. You had so many other paths to victory for Magomedov, including getting his own knockout. All right. Leroy Murphy gets the victory over Dan Ige. Very close fight, came down to the third round, and people were giving me a lot of heat for picking Ige. That was a fight that was extremely close, came down to the third round. I thought Ige was about to sneak that W off, had Murphy down in the mat, but Murphy, showing some real growth with his grappling, worked his way back up and did enough to take that third round, gets the job done there. He's still undefeated, but I don't have him ranked as high as maybe some of you guys do. I think that as he fights the top fighters in this division, I think that he will start to take those L's. And then we had Magomed Ankalaev. If you guys follow me on IG, you guys know I do this thing called the Sunday Dump, where I make all these memes. I put them together. They crack me up. I enjoy doing them. And I had a couple involved with Magomed Ankalaev. Go check them out on Instagram. And we'll see if the UFC will finally give him this UFC title shot. Listen, if you didn't think that fight was the most exciting fight, you need to also note that Alexander Rakic was the main cause of that. He's on the back foot. Why was everybody so high in Rakic? I saw a lot of people talking about how, this fight should be much more closer to 50-50 on the betting line. Rakic can go out here and easily get the job done. This dude hasn't had a knockout in 5 years. He's been so hesitant. Okay, he's a fighter. When you understand he's 32 years old now, I never saw the continuous growth in his game. It's like he plateaued and then started to decline. And I don't like that. I don't like that when you're backing a fighter like that. I had no faith in Rakic. You guys want to doubt Ankalaev, but you have to understand this dude just continues to go out there and get the job done. He's a fighter that should still be undefeated. He made that one stupid mistake against Craig with 1 second left. The Blachowicz fight, that's a whole nother story. I can go in on that, but I thought that he actually should have got the job done there. Depending on how you scored that, we had the 10-8 round and whatnot. He had a lot of leg kicks. His legs were damaged, but he still won that fight, in my opinion. And Blachowicz is the real deal anyway, but we got to see Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. We have to see that fight, and I'm telling you guys know when I get going and I'm warning you something's going to happen. For the most part, if you want to be honest with yourselves, even whether you agree or disagree, when I hammer in on a talking point, there's usually a reason I'm doing that, and I'm usually right about it. I'm telling you guys, Magomed Ankalaev will defeat Alex Pereira. I'm telling you guys, we're going to see it. That fight has to be made next. I don't think the UFC can skip over Ankalaev again. And he landed some big shots, man. He landed some big lefts. It wasn't the most exciting fight. Didn't get the knockout, but come on, you cannot doubt him now. And that was the first leg of a huge 7-unit big boy, 2-team parlay that's going to hit here in a second. Stick with me. But we'll stop quickly at the Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev fight, which I did have a 3-unit play on. I got Whittaker at a +210 line. I stand behind that play all day. That was one of those ones where as I lost the fight there, as Whittaker lost the fight and Chimaev looked great in that first round, I already understood that was a strong possibility to happen. I knew that. I was saying right before the fight started, I was with my boys, and I told everybody, I said, listen, he may go out there and get steamrolled in the first, because that's what Chimaev does very well. He'll finish you early, but if we could survive the first round, this fight should be ours in the later rounds, and we're getting great value here. Let's see if we can get this fight to the second, third, fourth, fifth round, and it didn't play out like that, and that's fine. It was a 3-unit stab on a nice +210 line on a great fighter in Whittaker. It's just he got steamrolled, and I want to give Chimaev some credit. Let me touch upon this, because this was one thing that a lot of people were hating on me. on IG. I've been a little bit more out there with my posts, and I hope you guys just take it in good fun. I know some of you guys get real sensitive back in some of your fighters, and I like to have a little bit more fun. I hope you guys can loosen up a little bit, but I do want to give Khamzat Chimaev some credit because he looked phenomenal, looked to be the best version I've ever seen, and I was really wondering how he was going to look out there because he mentally, in the way his personality is, he completely changed, and I almost was wondering if this is a fighter that's even interested in trying to make a run at the title or try to even take the title because he may have that title shot now, and I'm like, does he even care to have that opportunity? And it seems that he does. He just changed. He just, his personality completely changed. Some of you guys said, oh, he matured. And, you know, for all you guys that feel that type of way, I mean, okay, maybe he just all of a sudden matured. I kind of liked, or I did like the Khamzat that was out there on the mic talking about how he was going to take everyone out. And this, and I like that type of energy. And I wanted him to carry that with him all the way to becoming a champion. And I'm just not really with that personality that he has now where he's just, and again, I understand he has family issues too, so I'm not talking about that. I get that. And again, I said my prayers to him and all that, but I don't think that's just what the situation is. I think there's something else going on with him. But as long as he's fighting like that, it doesn't matter because he's going to be steamrolling dudes. And then that takes us to the main event, which let me just clear the air up here, right? Before we even talk about how we capitalize on a big boy 7-unit 2-team parlay between Topuria and Magomedov, parlayed together, caught that at great odds together, man. Listen, I like Max Holloway. I have a great deal of respect for him. I do not like the fact that he didn't meet Topuria in the center of the cage when Topuria walked out there and pointed down at the mat. And I'm going to explain to you guys why that is the case. All right, when you are the BMF champion, right? When you're the BMF, right? You guys know what the BMF stands for, okay? In a sport that has the most, known for having the most BMFers. Everyone's a BMFer, more than any other sport you could think of, okay? Compared to the NFL, NBA, any major sport you could think of, the UFC and MMA as a whole is a sport that has the baddest BMFers, and he is the BMF champion, okay? And you're a fighter that's known for pointing down at the mat, calling fighters out, and they meet you, they oblige. I understand that a lot of times when he does that, it's in fights that he was already winning, and that's at the end of the fight. I get it. I don't care about that. I don't care. Everyone keeps using that as a talking point. I don't care. I understand what you're saying. Props to him for doing that in fights that he was going to win and he gave the fighter a chance. Okay, cool. I don't care. When you called them out, they met you there. Now, when somebody calls you out, it doesn't matter what time they call you out. If they call you out as soon as that fight starts, if you're the BMF of the BMF sport, you got to meet them there. When you're talking about how you're the bull and you're going to go get the matador like he did in his call out after he knocked out Gaethje, and then the fight kicks off and you're acting like you're a matador, well, what kind of bull is that? I thought you were going to be a bull. All right, I lost a little bit of respect for Holloway. I still have a lot of respect for Holloway, man. He's a great fighter, but your shtick is being the BMF and being always ready to scrap and brawl it out and just do whatever. This fight game is not always about just sneaking off W's. We were talking about your legacy here. And now, meanwhile, he still goes out there and gets knocked out. Like I told you guys he was going to get knocked out. He still goes out there, gets knocked out. Meanwhile, if he would have met Topuria in the middle, maybe he could have got a lucky shot in, but most likely he would have got knocked out too. But at least he would have went on his shield. I think that would have been the most G thing. If Holloway would have went out there and met him in the middle when Topuria walked out and pointed down the mat, I would have probably had Holloway in like my top 5 favorite fighters of all time. He would have skyrocketed. Because I told you guys how he downplayed the whole thing. If you would have went out there and actually ran out there and met him and started pointing down too, it would have been one of the most iconic scenarios that we've ever seen in the sport. And some of you guys are such big Holloway fans that you guys are overlooking that, and you don't want to admit that it was soft that he didn't meet him in the middle. A lot of you guys just don't want to admit it because you guys are huge Holloway fans and you're in denial right now. That's the truth. So I think he dropped the ball in a major way. He gets knocked out for the first time in his professional career. It was crazy. I told you guys Topuria is a different type of an animal. He is the best boxer in the game. He has serious power. He's well-rounded. His calf kicks are nasty, and he's going to be a problem. Now, if you want to talk about him going up and fighting Islam Makhachev, I don't think he should do that at all. Now, if he wants to do that, that's fine. It'll be cool that he's stepping up and doing that. He still has a lot of work to do in this division. Okay, he only just became the champion in his previous fight before this. There's a lot of fighters starting to make buzz in this division, and I think there's some good fights that could be on the horizon for him. Islam Makhachev is a huge lightweight. Ilia Topira is an undersized featherweight. But if you want to go out there and do it, then more props to Topuria. You know what I mean? If he wants to do it, that's cool. I would like to see him really establish himself as like I said, he will be the greatest featherweight of all time. And then you start doing those legacy type fights against a guy that's just way bigger than you, that's going to be hanging on you nonstop. So I think Topuria could potentially stuff some takedowns, but yeah, he's going to be in for a long night facing off with Magomedov. So that's how I feel about that. And again, we capitalize on that fight there. We have another profitable event after hitting that. We go 3 or 4 on our official plays, and we profit almost 10 units on the card. Okay, it was a huge night. The last 3 to 4 months have been ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous, okay? I haven't even been that vocal. I haven't even been over here on YouTube talking about the plays that we've been hitting. I really haven't. I've been just jumping into the next cards. But guys, if you're following me on IG, I'm posting my results. It's been ridiculous what we've been doing. It's been absolutely crazy. I was coming into this card off a clean sweep. I mean, we just been profiting every single card. And guys, I'm not saying it just to be like cocky, or arrogant. I hope I'm not rubbing any of you guys the wrong way, but I'm happy about what's been going on recently, because you guys know it doesn't always go like that. Okay, it's tough, man, to get these winning streaks going on. This is one of the hottest half of a year's time of betting concentrated together. One of the hottest points in time I've had since betting on MMA, betting on sports. It's been great. It's been fun. And shout out to everyone that's been tailing with me, cashing these bets. I appreciate you guys a lot. Shout out to everybody that's given me support here on the channel, and for everybody that's been upset with me for saying, having fun, posting the memes and whatnot. I hope you guys can just relax and have some fun with it all, and don't take it so personal, because I really do appreciate you guys, and I really don't want to rub any of you guys the wrong way, because anyone that's tuned in, listening, or checking my posts, I really have a lot of respect and a lot of love for you guys. So just lighten up, have some fun with it all, and I hope you guys all had a profitable event. Hope you guys all cashed, and you guys know how it goes. It's just one event to the next. So we had a huge event take place, and then now we got UFC Edmonton on the horizon. Going to start recording that here very soon, and we're going to make that one another profitable event as well, guys. So thank you for tuning in. We'll leave you with that. Signing out. Teller.
The teller.